Yes, I'm here.
Yes, we missed our fish feed last week.
Got
I was
it.
really sad.
I'm so sorry.
So disappointed, Taryn. Not happy.
Oh, wow. But yes, today we have a mix of different types of pellets that I'm feeding my fish. And I actually haven't been able to get any new fish, which is kind of sad. But they're all good.
Wow.
Oh wait, actually, no, I did get some new fish.
Oh,
I got some native Australian red rainbows. So that's pretty cool to get some natives going on. But let me give you a closer look.
Oh my gosh. Have you not fed them for a while, Taryn? They seem super excited about food.
Yeah, I've been starving them for a week just so we can get some cool reactions.
Just in preparation for this.
Yes.
I love
But
it.
no, they get fed every day. Yesterday was their bloodworm day. So yesterday they got a few tubes of frozen bloodworms. And today is just their staple diet of different types of pellets and some freeze-dried shrimp and stuff like that.
Oh, what a
Oh my
tasty
gosh.
morning tea.
Yeah. They get a full culinary experience of different foods.
brilliant.
But yeah, so really happy about the red rainbows because they're a cool native Australian species that I can kind of show off. And yeah.
How
nice.
many Aussie species do you have now in there?
Oh God, probably about 20 different species, I'd say.
Wow.
There's a good mix of fish from all around the world in there.
Exciting.
Yeah,
I miss our fish.
it's so sad. I want to come to the aquarium so bad, but unfortunate events.
We'll get you back there.
Yes, that's the dream.
Don't worry. Now, T, we got a few others here today. So exciting to see a few people.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully more people will join. Sometimes some show up a little bit late, but we'll let them in as they join. Ready to get started?
Yeah, why not? I'm just going to head over to another webpage at the moment. So I'll let you do the little introduction. But guys, you might see our little special guest sitting over here.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize it was my time to talk. All right. So welcome everyone on a Saturday morning. Obviously, nice sunny day, so it's nice that you can join us today. Here we have Steph. Now, Steph is a wonderful creator. She owns, now I'm probably going to get the pronunciation wrong. Is it Anipal?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Got it.
Anipal. So basically that's sustainable pet products for your pets. Steph is also a vet. She works at multiple clinics. Absolutely amazing job. I'll let her explain her history and what she's doing for the industry.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me, guys. It's great to be here, and it's a seriously inspiring group. I love what you guys are doing, and we're bringing the ocean to our youth and enabling you all to understand what it's all about and the unknowns, because literally the majority of us know very little about what covers the majority of our surface of the planet, and the life in that ocean is just remarkable, and there's so many unknowns. So I love what you guys are doing, and it's a seriously inspiring group. So it's great to be here. But as a bit of a background, so I'm a vet, and I work primarily at RSPCA Victoria in Melbourne. I'm from a beef farm in New South Wales and came to Melbourne to study uni. Since the stage 4 lockdowns came into effect, I needed to go home and help on the farm because we were calving. So I've since been working helping home with calving, and then I've come to help a vet clinic in Colac around that area, so I don't have to enter the stage 4 right now. So I'm kind of not in my usual role in RSPCA, but No, it's great. I get to work with largies again, so which is cows and horses and things like that. But also on the side, I do, which is now becoming a bit more of a full-time role. I started Annie Pal, which I kind of started it in my grad year after uni, because I just realized how little of a sustainable impact the vet clinic was making and how much we can help change the direction of and encourage people to change the direction of their buying habits and how they look after their pet and what they do in their everyday life. So it led me to starting Annie Pal and kind of led me down a rabbit hole of lots of research. But no, so today I'll go into the presentation, but today where it's exciting, we're expanding and we're able to help pets be a lot more sustainable, which is really cool. But what I will do now with my limited abilities with technology, I'm going to share screen and I'm going to find, here we go, the presentation. And I just need to make this big. Oh, no, view, full screen mode. There we go. All righty. Is that all working for you guys? Great. Great. It's very rare that technology works for me. Okay, so here's a bit of an introduction to Annie Pal, and anyone feel free to just unmute yourself and ask questions as I go. I have a habit of talking too much as well, so you can always just unmute yourself and tell me to hurry up. So an introduction to Annie Pal. It all essentially started when during vet school and early on after vet school, I was doing a lot of reading around what's happening in our oceans. And I grew up on the river, the Murray River, and water's always played a very important role in my life and the ecosystem that we live in. And when I did further reading and understood the serious impacts that are happening and threats on our ocean and our inland waterways, I moved from a concern to more of an alarmist phase, and that sent me down a rabbit warren hole, like I said, of research of how we can help improve this situation. So, for example, some of the facts that really were hitting home for me was understanding that over 100,000 marine animals in the North Pacific Ocean alone are killed by plastic each year. And these figures are really not exactly entirely representative. So they're very conservative. And then, of course, the UN sounded the alarm that we face a global emergency with our oceans. And by 2050, there will be more weight in plastic in our oceans than actual fish. I'm sure you guys know all of these statistics already, but it's, you know, for me, going over them sometimes even now, it's still just, it helps remind me what I'm doing and drives me to do what I do. So consequently, I created Annie Pal, which is inspiring the animal community to adopt environmental and sustainable solutions. So we endeavour to help our animal community adopt more sustainable practices. And the way we decided to originally start that is by creating recycled plastic collars and leashes. So I disappeared down this rabbit hole I explained because I realized that normal dog collars and leashes that dogs and cats wear and that we sell in our vet clinic is most commonly made out of virgin plastic. And I always thought it was from a sustainable fiber. I just hadn't really thought about it. And then when I realized it was actually virgin plastic, I was quite just shocked, and then it started down this route of, well, how can we make recycled plastic alternatives of this? And then a lot of vets that we all sell these accessories in our clinics, but none of us really knew what they were made out of. So it's about mobilizing the veterinary and animal community to make better and more proactive choices. So to walk you through the steps of how that happens, plastic is collected from the oceans and also from normal recycling streams. It is cleaned, then shredded and pelletized. And then those pellets are spun into yarn. So a lot of the textiles that we wear and collars and leashes, it's made from polyester. And you'd all know the word polyester. Polyester is actually plastic that's been spun into yarn. So polyester is plastic itself. So you can create recycled polyester and obviously spin that into yarn, and then that's woven into textiles and collars and leashes. So that's the 3 steps there. So it's shredded and pelletized and then woven into our collars and leashes. So a bit of progress to date. We actually launched 18 months ago and we sold out of our first range. We're developing our second range from retrieved fishing nets, and we've partnered with great organisations like RSPCA, ProVet, which is Australia's largest veterinary distributor, and local and international recyclers and manufacturers. We're in about 40 to 50 vet clinics now, and we're soon to be launching into some large pet retailers who have reached out wanting to help move some of their products that they supply to more sustainable alternatives. We've been
Oops, bit of an issue with our internet there. We may have lost Steph for a minute. We will see if she comes back. What do you think, T?
Yeah, we'll just wait it out for a minute. Sorry, everyone.
Really exciting though.
Yeah.
So many businesses.
I'm really curious what pet supplier, because we're probably getting a puppy soon.
Really lucky to have great support in the media with ABC and World Wildlife Foundation and a number of veterinary.
Did you do that, T?
No.
All right, we'll get Steph back up in a second. While she is unfreezing and coming back up, remember guys, if you do have any questions you're thinking of as you go, sometimes it's easier to write it down in the chat while you think of it as well. Now, we were supposed to have Rihanna from Team Timbuktu today too, but we're just waiting to see if she'll jump on. But for now, we've got Steph, and it looks like she's back. Are you back, Steph?
I'm back. So
Awesome.
sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. It happens to me all the time. So we got up to you saying you had lots of media support.
Yes, let me just figure out how to find the Zoom. You're somewhere on my computer screen. Oh, there you go. So I can share screen and get you back. Okay, now where are we? I think we're here. Yep, perfect.
There we go.
All right.
Yay!
Perfect.
Back on track.
We're back, guys. And then so I had lots of great support, which has been fantastic. And then we also asked to present at a United Nations conference called Sea of Solutions, which I really recommend you guys to, if you look up United Nations Environment Program on Facebook and the internet, you can follow their Sea of Solutions, which is really, really great, and it's inspiring, and it's kind of explaining what's happening globally to try and tackle the issues and the threats with our oceans. So that was a great experience. And then here's an example of some of our collars and leashes in action. That's our first range, which celebrated the ocean. We had Great Barrier Reef, Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and Lonesome George, which I'm not sure if you guys know, it celebrates, I'm sure you do, celebrates a tortoise, which he unfortunately became extinct, but he was the last of his species, and he was quite a symbol of conservation and a threat to what's happening with our oceans. And he was very extinguished, beautiful tortoise, and I think he lived until he was 130 or 140. But definitely look up Lonesome George. He's a very inspiring creature. This is Annie Powell in action in some clinics. As I mentioned, we're in about 40 to 50, roughly up to about 60 now, vet clinics in Australia. And we work with vets actually quite internationally at the moment as well. Our next range that we're soon to be launching is going to be supporting Australian native species as well as the oceans. It's just, we're just really trying to highlight what we as Aussie vets can do to help our own home and our own wildlife. And essentially just providing you our aim again, which is that by 2050, we hope that Australia's veterinary and animal community are global leaders in sustainability. So that's our ethos and what drives us. This is a picture of our next range that will be coming to market soon. I'm sorry, the photo is a little bit granular. I'm not sure what's happened there, but we've got the bilby and the black cockatoo here. And we have a few other species that we will be supporting as well. So these are all threatened Australian species. And then that's where we do have a platypus one coming as well. And I love platypus, being from river country, the Murray River. I love platypus. But I wanted to touch on, the next slide might make you guys laugh a little bit. This might seem like you can create something from nothing and it hasn't been a lot of hard work, but it is a huge amount of work, but it's so easy to do when you're inspired by something. And you guys are so inspired by the oceans already. So it's just about reading up and finding a solution that you think can help improve the situation for the oceans. And honestly, just begin. Just start researching. Google is your best friend. I spent so much time on Google and research. And then you can just find different people and ask lots of questions, just call people up. I knew hardly any of the manufacturers in Australia, and I just called them, and they're normally so happy to talk you through any questions. And so 3 years ago, when I was finishing vet school, 3 or 4 years ago, here's what my first iteration of treats, which we will soon be launching under Annie Powell, but this was me trying to do them at home. This is what my first iteration of dog treats look like. Okay, I was convinced that I need to make dog treats, which a lot of it is really unsustainable, what's on the market. I wanted to try and provide animals more veggies, more locally grown veggies, because a lot of it's just meat-based solutions and much more sustainable alternatives. So I just got dehydrators out, bought one up from the farm, and I went and got one from the supermarket, and I just started trying all these like old veggies in a dehydrator, and then trying to feed it to dogs to see if anyone would eat it. So this looks like dog's breakfast, literally. It's a mess, but it's a start. And just start trialing anything and everything. And you guys, being interested in the oceans, you're obviously probably quite scientific minded as well. So just start experimenting and have fun. Like my partner, he had to handle like our house full of dog treats and dehydrators and different iterations of dog treats. And you can just turn your home into a bit of a science lab. It's super fun. But essentially that winds up my presentation. So I'm pretty much, it's all about just beginning, find something you're passionate about, do research, and then and then begin and ask lots of questions. Yeah, people are normally so willing to help. But yeah, that's
so
Abby
amazing.
Cullen in a nutshell.
I'm not sure I want
No,
to eat that for my breakfast, but it's very colourful.
I think both Taryn and Tess want
Yeah,
to.
I think we've got some zucchini there, some sweet potato, carrots. I don't even know, but yeah. My dog, he liked them, but not that much. So I'm actually working with a proper manufacturer now, and I've designed proper treats, and we're soon to be launching seaweed-based dog treats, as well as insect-based dog treats, because obviously insect protein is a lot more sustainable and has, you know, 1/100th of the carbon footprint than red meat. And so we're just providing options for the industry to use more sustainable alternatives.
And I think that is so interesting. You don't think about it outside of sort of people doing, you know, the right thing, and we're doing the right thing with our clothing and with, you know, the things that we buy. But you don't even, like, it didn't even come into my head thinking about dog food as having such a big footprint for one, but also what goes in it for another. So I guess this is your way of growing an established business and moving further on and getting another direction and another bit under your belt so that it can continue to thrive. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So funnily enough, it all began with dog treats. So this was me trialing stuff because I was in the clinic. I was in final year vet. You're in a million different clinics. And every time you're feeding out liver treats to a client, and you're just thinking, I was just thinking, like, these dogs are normally given dry food, which can frequently be full of all sorts of nasties, and then liver treats. And I was like, it's just not healthy. They're not getting a majority of veggies and fiber that they really need. And B, its footprint's enormous. So it actually started with treats, and then I got concerned about the plastic as well. And then I dove down that rabbit hole, and that kind of consumed my time. So now I'm trying to bring in the treats as well. So
amazing. Yeah. How do you find the time between being like a full-time vet, working everywhere? I mean, you're at home now, but doing everything, and developing and growing this business?
You're really busy. You are really busy. I'm now only about 2 to 3 days a week in the clinic, which is good because it gives me a couple more days to focus on this. But at the beginning, it was really busy. But when you're really passionate about something, you've got to nurture that passion, and you end up finding that a lot of your free time you'll spend on something like this if you really believe in it. And you work hard until you're able to get a bit more balance.
Amazing. Now, T, there's a question in our chat from Taryn, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we've got one from Tess as well. I'll start off with Tess's. Was it difficult starting up a sustainable business?
No, to tell the truth, it wasn't. It's literally, I started with treats, and then with the plastics, I just started reaching out to different manufacturers to talk me through the supply chain and how things are made. And they explained to me, plastic is cleaned, and then it's shredded and pelletized and spun into yarn, and then thread into textiles. And people are normally really open to explaining things to you because a lot of the manufacturers know that this is a space that's going to grow, and so they're looking for customers as well. So they're normally really happy to talk you through and help you out, because I am a future potential customer for them, for my brand. So and they understand that for them to make a living, they need to go where the market is. So they've all been really, really lovely. And it actually, I don't think I've had any more difficulties than a normal business would starting up a sustainable one. The market's very receptive to it
Yeah.
at the moment. So it's yeah, I think I think it now is a brilliant time if you want to trial something in the space. It's a great time to start experimenting and trialing things. In regards to the actual back end of you know, getting your business name sorted, and then getting being advised on a company structure and things like that. They ASIC and those organisations, Australian Security and Investment, whatever ASIC is, where you need to apply your business name for a business name, they talk you through all these steps. So that's really helpful. Fortunately for me as well, my other half, he's an accountant, so he was able to advise when I had no idea what I was doing, which is 99% of the time.
Beautiful. Our next question is from Taryn, and his question is Anapel going to be tailored to dogs, or will it branch out to other pets like fish?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting, actually. So at the moment, I'm focusing on dogs and cats simply because to keep a business going, you need to really focus on a range and get that up and going and developed and economically viable, so that you can then start branching out into different areas. So absolutely, I would love to move into aquaculture and the fish space. I'd love to move, like my background being on beef farm, I'd love to move and help farming communities to be more sustainable. It's that they're all really their long-term goals, and I do really hope to achieve them. It was funny, my seaweed farmer who I was chatting to yesterday, and she's helping with these treats. She's been trialing her seaweed with there's specific molecules in the seaweed that can make things very gelatinous, which is great for aquaculture and feeding aquaculture, I guess, on large scales, because it helps with a slow digestion of nutrients for the fish, as opposed to and you want gelatinous food as opposed to them just getting ingredients all at once. It's a hit to their stomach and their GIT system. It then causes an osmotic effect, so a lot of water will then go in and dilates their abdomen. It's and I guess from a production perspective, it's about optimizing the health of the fish and of the nutrients that they can get and their health. So it's really, really interesting, you know, the seaweed potential in aquaculture as well. And insect, a lot of the insect protein being made globally at the moment is getting made to be used in aquaculture.
That's interesting, Az. And before you guys all jumped on, we were actually talking to Steph about the seaweed industry and all of the potential benefits that it does have, not only for our footprint and, you know, footprints, getting it done, but for, you know, feeding populations of people as well. The growth rate of it's insane. So there's a lot of work being done in that space. And hopefully when we get to see you guys face to face towards the end of the year, we might get to see that for ourselves as well. Now I've got a question for you, Steph. Where do you source your fishing net, like your recycled fishing line from? Was it through the manufacturer itself, or did you have to go source that yourself and then bring it to a manufacturer?
So interestingly, there's a combination of both. So for us to get the yarn that we need right now for our products, we go through larger international organizations who actually employ fishermen to, during when they're out there, normally catching fish or working in a fishing capacity, they will get a lot of bycatch in their nets, which is fishing nets. So these communities, these organizations employ these fishermen to bring in these nets, not just fish. They're actually sometimes out there just fishing for ghost nets, because there's so many of them. They're called ghost nets, ones that are just floating out in the ocean. and then they come in and then they'll pass that on to a recycling organization, which will clean it. There's actually a lot of work that needs to go into getting nets into usable yarn, because they've been out in the ocean for such a long time. There's all of this differences in the quality of the plastic, and you need to be able to unwind those fishing nets. You then need to, they're different types of plastic normally. You need to stream the different types of plastic in it. You need to clean it a lot. So it's a huge process. So there's no manufacturer in Australia currently and recycling organisation who can take on that load, but we're actually, a number of recycling companies and myself and a few others are pushing government to try and invest in providing that ability here in Australia, because we have, and you would know, so many ghost nets in our own waters. And so many, there's actually quite a few recycling companies that are now beginning to stockpile ghost nests that then they work with organizations to bring them in, because they want to be able to use them. They just don't have the manufacturing ability in Australia to use them currently. So hopefully in the next 5 to 10 years, that's going to change. So currently we need to work with offshore organizations. So there's Parley for the ocean. There's Sequel, which is great. So they're all dedicated to providing this stream, and there's Waste to Wear. So they're really, really good.
Yeah, I was about to say Parley and all that work with brands like Billabong and Rip Curl and all your big brands to help do it. But it'd be so nice if we could get it here in Australia, especially when fishing is such a big part of our economy. It could become a big, sustainable circular economy if it gets started out and comes right back in. And we had the MSC and the AMCS talk to these guys a few weeks ago about the amount of nets that are off the coast of Australia. And if we could just use them for good and, drop our carbon footprint as well with the transportation of it, it would be amazing. But we are a few steps behind in our recycling here in Australia, sadly. Fingers crossed. The new industry, and hopefully it will be a big one when we talk to you, in 5 years' time. It'll be happening everywhere.
Absolutely. And honestly, your voices make a big difference. So you can always reach out to recycling organizations and encourage them to think about this space. And the more that you guys encourage that, to tell the truth, the more that they'll try and get you on board, so then they can help encourage government and show government, look, there's all this willing youth and community that want this. Like, you need to be able to support it, and it can provide a lot of jobs as well. So yeah, it's a lot of encouraging and getting in touch with different people in the community about this.
And you can see that really easily, guys. And we're talking to Two in the Sun Juzzy last week from up in Byron Bay in the packaging industry. We've moved from bulk packaging, everyone, having plastic fillers and, your bubble wrap and things, to people really, really wanting to source recyclable plastics and paper and boxes so that their footprint's smaller too. And I was going to say, Steph, do you have to do that when you're thinking about, your brand? Have you got all your packaging sorted too? Because it's a big initial outlay too.
Oh, that I've been working on that hugely in the last little while. So, and funnily enough, like ideally we would love a home compostable one, but for dog treats that you need at least an 18-month to 2-year lifespan. And currently the home compostable products on the market can't provide that lifespan because they get degraded by oxygen. So we're having to think, we're trying to find a recycled plastic packaging provider, but I've not had any luck internationally so far. So if anyone knows a recycled plastic packaging supplier, that would be great. Because right now,
really hard.
Yeah, because right now the only solution I have is a virgin plastic packaging provider who works with Red Cycle, which does the soft plastics recycling. So we've ensured that our current, we haven't started with the packaging production yet, but the packaging designs and packaging we're looking at works with Red Cycle, so we can provide the recyclable option. But I would love, I'd love home compostable to be able to, and one day they will be able to ensure an 18-month to 2-year lifespan. But see, no pet retailer or vet clinic will take that on a treat on unless it has that lifespan. So number one is home compostable to advance, and they will get to that phase, I think, in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And the second option is recycled plastic, but there is absolutely no supplier to my knowledge. And then third option is a recyclable plastic.
Yeah. And we spoke to, again, I'm not name dropping, I promise, but we were speaking to Tangaroa Blue and Port Phillip Bay Eco Centre earlier in the year. You guys were all hearing from them. And they were saying the difference in language is also very confusing. And if you're not across this, we're very lucky. We're all immersed in this sort of conservation world. But a lot of people aren't. And biodegradable versus recyclable versus compostable, all that language needs to be really defined, or people just think they're doing the right thing, and they are, but they could do better as well. So more education too.
Absolutely. And this is a space like that, you know, is funny. I was advised well and truly to keep clear of the biodegradable, because you don't want it to biodegrade to plastic molecules. So you need a home compostable that biodegrades into organic molecules. So you need to be really careful. And for people in our space, this language and the ability to ask lots of questions and think about each step logically is, I think, is an asset to scientists and people interested in this space. While there's a lot of people out there who, as you said, they can really be misled because they, you know, they're fed certain names and meanings that aren't quite right. So you do need to be really careful.
It is. It's exciting times though. And we haven't told Steph this, but obviously you guys are working towards a project with Ocean Youth this year. So Steph, the idea is that these guys will come up with an idea, a business, a brand, a product, a concept. Maybe they want to support something like Tangaroa Blue and become a bit of a voice for them in their own school and community. And we're going to look at that in November. And Steph's just mentioned so many opportunities within, you know, branding and products and the construction line that you guys could work with or become advocates for or use in your project towards the end of the year. So there is so many things that can be done out there. And like we said last week, you don't have to remake the wheel. You can jump on someone else's wheel and help to support what they're doing as well. So it's really an exciting time. And as the consumer, we're able to determine what it looks like in the future. So I know I want to buy some of your products.
Oh, no, thank you very much. It is like it's all about consumer driving the trend, and everything else in the supply chain to meet that needs to conform. So one space I'm really excited about is seaweed packaging.
Yeah.
So there's quite a movement. As you can see, I'm really excited about seaweed. I'm trying to tell Dad, who he's, you know, a beef farmer. I've just sent him an article about seaweed farming, and I'm trying to get us to use some of like the revolting Murray water, because it's just been, it's carp, if you guys know about carp. Yeah. So I'm trying to get us to use some of that into tanks where we can grow seaweed. Anyway, this is my new philosophy for some of the land at home. Yeah, there's seaweed packaging. So I have a friend who has started a little organization, and they're looking. She's a lecturer at University of Murdoch University, or University of Western Australia, one of those. But she's working with seaweed to be able to make a product that is essentially same lifespan and ability as plastic, but it's made out of seaweed, and it then decomposes into seaweed molecules as well. So yeah, it's an exciting space.
It is. And I was saying to the kids last week, I was saying to you guys last week, if you do get a chance, this is just something I saw, and it put it in perspective. I'm living down on Phillip Island with my family right now. They're not great recyclers or anything like that. And they watch this show and it's changed their way of living. Planet A that was on ABC last week with Craig from The Chaser. If you guys get a chance to watch that on iView, there is a really, really small but good part about seaweed being used in farming practices and how they're using it in hopefully, you know, future industry as well. And it blew my family's mind. They're like, what? I thought, you know, they needed this. So it's a really, really good language that they use to help everyone understand the concept and hopefully push towards being the person who buys it in the future.
I'm super excited. I haven't seen Planet A. It's actually on my list to watch this weekend.
It's really enjoyable, and I don't usually say that. And my family, you know, they're from Phillip Island. You know, they're as sustainable as they can be, but climate change has never been a big issue for them. Loved it. They were like, it's Tuesday night, put it on, and it's only 3 hours, guys. The whole series. It's worth a watch, and you can see how it all interlinks in to the same problem to our oceans, and there's little things that we can do to help hopefully fix it towards the future. Very exciting. So there you go, Steph, a bit of a idea for your weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that tonight, and I'm gonna share it on Annie Pal as well. So expect to see.
Awesome. And I was about to say, before we let you go, if we do want to buy your products, where do we go? What do we do? If these guys do want to support a business that's making a difference, how do we do that?
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. So if you just go to www.anniepowell.com.au, so our website, you'll be able to see our ocean range there. And then in the next couple of months, we'll be launching the native Australian species range as well. And we hopefully will be in pet retailers soon as well. But no, definitely head to our website. And if you know if a collar and leash isn't what you guys are after, definitely join our journey and reach out to me anytime, because I love just brainstorming ideas and talking to people interested in this space, because it inspires me as much as you guys, and it's just nice talking with people who are interested in the same area.
And these guys really are. And we hope that in the future, what you're doing is the norm rather than the, you know, standout randomness. Hopefully this is what it does look like in 5-10 years.
Exactly. And I'm so determined, because we have the appetite in the Australian vet and animal community for us to be leaders in this space. And I'm really, really determined for that to happen. So, yeah, hopefully, yeah, it's everywhere.
It is. Now, guys, we have sadly not been able to get Rihanna to jump on board this morning. I don't know what's happened to Rihanna, but we might be able to see her. We have another webinar in a couple of weeks. So hopefully we might be able to get her on board for that. And just like Steph here, using recycled fishing line, we had Rihanna using recycled plastics that were collected from the ocean to create her rain jackets and exercise range. And I'll still share her link and Steph's link to you guys in the follow-up notes from this webinar anyway. We have got the follow-up notes from last week's webinar too, but we're just waiting for the video to get transferred into a file that you guys can watch. So I'll send them both out together. So a big thank you for Steph for joining us. And actually, Steph, it turned out really well. It's 10:45. We wouldn't have had time to have Rihanna on board anyway.
Oh, see, I told you guys I talk too much. I'm so sorry.
No, we love it.
Absolutely. Not at all. And I'm sure everyone here enjoyed it too. If anyone does have any last questions before we sign up for the day, the chat box is there. Otherwise, Steph can head off whenever, or she can hang out. I'm just going to finish up by saying that on this Wednesday, the second Wednesday, we have a very special webinar at 4 p.m. Now, this isn't just going to be our crew, which has been what we've had for the last few months, which has been awesome. But we're going to be joined by all of Ocean Youth from around Australia and New Zealand. And we're going to have Nick from Ocean Impact Org talking to us. Now, his partner is Tim Silverwood, who started Take 3 from the Sea. So this is their new amazing organisation that they have set up. They're not-for-profit, called Ocean Impact Org. And their whole concept is support people within the industry doing great things. So they're going to talk to us about how we can thrive and achieve and be inspired, just like we were by Steph today. They're going to do that on Wednesday at 4 p.m. our time. So I will send out a email with that too. If you can make it, great. If you can't, we will record it, but it would be great to see some Melbourne people representing there, because Tiana and I are running it.
It is a different link as well, so don't use this link. Peter will link the correct link because it's all of Australia and New Zealand. It is not our normal webinar link.
And it will be an opportunity to get in the chat box and talk to other people experiencing Ocean Youth, especially during lockdown. So a great time for you guys to connect with your peers and other like-minded ambassadors from around Australia and New Zealand, like we did with Kaitiaki last week. They blew my mind. They were so inspiring, those Ocean Youth kids from last year's Ocean Youth in Auckland. So that will be the next time we see you. That will be a great time to talk about projects as well. So we'll stick it out till then, and then following that webinar, we'll dive deeper into our project development organisation. Fingers crossed we might have a better idea of when we'll see you guys in person as well. So before we wrap it up, T, is there anything you want to say?
No, just thank you so much, Steph, for joining us
Yes.
on Saturday morning.
No, not at all. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to email me on Steph, STEPH, at anipal, anipal.com.au. And, or else, you know, if you guys use Instagram, anipalco, just reach out. You'll either get me or a friend who helps me out.
Perfect. And I'll send them through too. Don't worry. I'll send all of that out, mainly because I'm going to be shopping for my puppy from you, Steph, because it's super cute and adorable. And we like to do what we can to support not only local business, but sustainable businesses too. So we'll finish it up there, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. It was great to see all your faces. And Tiana and I will see you on Wednesday. Thank you, Steph.
No worries at all. Oh, sorry, I didn't stop sharing my screen. All right.
It's fine. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
See you, everyone.